Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host, Matt Snyder.
Better red than dead.
Javier Ortiz.
What is up, my nerds?
And Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
We appreciate your help growing the podcast. Go ahead, hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification button so you never miss out on a spoiler-free review. Check out our website, whatsourverdict.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter to get exclusive content and updates, pick up some merch, and interact with us. Question we always ask: if you ever find yourself wondering if you should spend the time, money, or both on a movie. To help with that question, each week we put a movie on trial, discuss the facts, pass judgment, and let you know our verdict. This is our spoiler-free review. We'll rate the movie on a 3-tiered scale. Worth it, meaning you should watch this movie as soon as possible. Stream it, meaning wait until you can watch it for free. And finally, not impressed, meaning you shouldn't watch this movie at all. Our deep dive reviews for each movie take place every Monday wherever fine podcasts are found. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Ghana, just to name a few. Today we're reviewing Eternals. It was released November 5th, 2021. It was written and directed by Chloe Zhao. Okay, so let me get prepared because this is a long-ass list. It stars Gemma Chan, Richard Madden, Kumail Nanjiani, Angelina Jolie, Lauren Ridloff, Brian Tyree Henry, Barry Keoghan, Ma Dong-seok, Leah McHugh, Harish Patel, Kit Harington, Bill Skarsgård, and Salma Hayek.
Dude, you killed that.
Thanks, man.
Woo!
There were
names.
some it's a lot of names, and there were some doozies in there. I was like,
And did it really help? I don't know.
Oh boy, here we go. The saga of the Eternals, a race of immortal beings who lived on Earth and shaped its history and civilizations. So spoiler free. I'll go first. Look, this movie's been getting shit on by critics, which always makes me more optimistic for a movie because they have been really going to town on it. It was unfortunately been review bombed for really stupid ass reasons by ignorant human beings on IMDb. So it's really kind of taking a hit. That's all everybody could talk about was its ratings and it's getting shit on and being rotten on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, getting the lowest scores from all Marvel movies. This is why I do this podcast, guys. This is why I wanted to start this thing with you guys because I hate critics for the most part. I think they're full of shit. I think they're idiots and they want nothing but dumb movies because they're artistic and all that. I've said it a million times. However, is this the greatest movie ever made? Not even remotely close. Is it the best Marvel movie ever made? Not really. Is it the worst? Not even close. I enjoyed this movie. I was entertained. I thought there was an immense amount of character development. And for a Marvel movie, that's few and far between in a lot of cases. More character development in a Marvel movie than I think I can remember since maybe the original Iron Man and a couple of others. But it was all about the characters and their development and who they were. And it did suffer from what I feel like Dune did, which being it felt like a setup movie. It's an introduction to a deeper introduction to the cosmic side of Marvel than we've seen even with like Guardians of the Galaxy. Goes into some seriously deep lore. And I told Ian and Javier that I was worried that it would suffer because without having some history on the comics, there's a lot of things that are missing and it really opens up a lot of questions. And I get that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the core story and the core cast, the other thing I feel like it suffered from was not the best major leads. Richard Madden and especially Gemma Chan suffered because she was acting next to Richard Madden most of this movie. And I think he didn't do her any favors. And part of that is who Icarus's character was supposed to be, I think. But anyway, we'll get into that more, I'm sure, in the deep dive. Overall, though, I really enjoyed this movie. I had a lot of fun. I thought there was great character development. I thought it was an okay story that had a lot of things that needed to be known through comics for it to really make sense. But I didn't hate this movie. I'm stuck. I feel like I'm in a really bad place when it comes to a rating, though, because I want to say worth it, but I don't know that the movie deserves a worth it because of the movie itself. But the visuals and seeing it in a theater, I think you'd be remiss to wait because visually there are some insanely cool things that happen in this movie. DC needs to take some notes, which we'll talk about in the deep dive, I'm sure. But I am gonna give it a worth it on the low end, meaning if you're not in it for some really cool visuals, like if that's not the most important thing to you, you can wait until it's on Disney Plus and you'll be just fine. But I think seeing it, the spectacle and the epic nature of this movie plays really well on a movie screen, on an actual theater screen. So if you can see it there, I think it's worth seeing it just once to say that. Now, I don't think you're going to miss out on anything overly crazy if you don't go see it in the theaters. So there it is for me. Javier.
Okay. The Eternals. Okay. So I will agree with JJ. It is not as bad. I actually haven't read any reviews on it, but if they're bad, like, it's not that bad. In fact, I liked this better than some of the more popular Marvel movies like Endgame. Like, I have no love for Endgame.
The
I'd
biggest
love
Marvel
to see the
movie.
Wait, what?
The community would come
The
after you
biggest
and
Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's just not a good story. It's kind of a cop out for making a good movie previously. Like Infinity War, that was a good movie. I enjoyed that movie. I loved watching heroes lose, Anyway, we're not reviewing that, but if we were, Endgame would get a not worth it. It's better than that, in my opinion, right? Like it's unique storytelling. They're trying something that I feel like is kind of new in the Marvel movie thingy. There's some weird things about it, right? Like some weird parts of the story, some weird like stuff that you kind of have to overlook. And there's a lot of hand movements, like we're in middle school again. You know what I'm talking about? But there are some cool visuals and there's some cool fighting. And Angelina Jolie's in this movie, and like, she's awesome. She's always awesome. So yeah. I'm gonna give this I'm gonna give it like a stream it, somewhere between like a low and mid stream it, because I'm sure if you like Marvel, you're gonna go watch this movie and you're gonna be fine. So I don't even know why you guys are listening to me, because you're not gonna listen to me anyway. So I'm just saying, there's better movies out there if you wanted to watch a better movie, but you're not going to. You're gonna go watch this movie. So do whatever you want.
Oh, I feel like I'm going to have a lot of defending to do in this movie. Ian.
It didn't help, JJ, that you had to explain major parts of the lore of this movie as soon as we walked out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was...
Agreed there.
It was definitely not the best movie. I don't know. I think I just echo what Javier and JJ have kind of already said. Like, it wasn't the worst, but it's far from the best as well.
We could echo that part.
Yeah,
too.
I don't know. I don't know if I would. I don't know. I'm not very good at ranking Marvel movies. They kind of just all blend together after a while.
Let me pause you, because I'm going to do something very controversial here and go on a limb and agree with Javier. I actually liked this movie more than I liked Endgame, because I felt like Endgame was a forced narrative to complete a story, and it wasn't. While I enjoyed it, don't get too excited, Javier.
No, too late. I'm excited.
I'm not going to shit on Endgame. I love Endgame, but I feel like this movie did more to move the MCU forward than Endgame did. So there you go, Javier.
Look at us, JJ. We're finding common ground.
Enjoy that. It'll probably never happen again.
This is immortalized forever.
All right. Sorry, Ian. Didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to get that out there.
You're good. You're good. My biggest struggle was I felt like there were so many actions that characters made that didn't fit characters, and then they would do stuff where it's like, why didn't you do this before? There's just a lot to resolve, and that you kind of have to jump and suspend disbelief even more than you should have to. And that's what I struggle with it. Visually, it was pretty cool to watch. But yeah, I'm in the stream it camp. I mean, if you're gonna go watch a science fiction movie about this kind of stuff, I say go watch Dune. Even if you've already seen it, go watch it again, because that one was my jam. So,
All right, Mattson, finish off the spoiler free for us, buddy.
Yeah, as a representative of the common folk, I'm going to use a word that's used in our lore quite often. This movie was meh. MEH, if you were looking for the correct spelling there. When it finished and the credits rolled around and I had to wait for classic Marvel 2 end credit scenes, like, can we just run them back to back? Why do I have to wait for more text to scroll down? I don't need to see the thousand.
Here's a novel concept. Why don't you put it in the fucking movie? Like,
Hey, I'm with Javier on that one. I think that part always annoys me, especially in this day and age when I can just go look it up afterwards. And
Just leave the theater and then YouTube it, and you're just fine.
I know, whatever. It's the principle, JJ. But this movie, and everyone's already said it, I'm gonna try and make mine a lot shorter. I'm definitely a simple stream it. I already understand if you love Marvel, you're gonna watch this movie, especially because you want to understand what's happening with Marvel moving forward. You have to see this movie to understand the new direction and the stories that they're gonna take. That being said, what's hard for Marvel, I don't know the comics beyond a lot of the characters that are done, and I think I'm more of a common user there, like many in the MCU. I was very kind of lost on where we're going, why we're going that direction, and I think many people kind of sit in that boat. And there's a lot of things in the story that we'll talk in the deep dive that it's hard for me. It feels like kind of X-Men Days of Future Past-ish, where there's
that movie was awesome.
Well,
I love that movie.
The
You
reason
can't like Endgame and dislike that movie. It's the same fucking movie.
Javier, you're not letting me.
So I was yelling at JJ, not you.
My only annoyance with the reason I bring that movie up is that allowed the X-Men universe to basically redo every movie they ever wanted to do, and that's why that annoyed. I liked the movie, I just didn't like that part of it, because I was like, well, what was it all for? And there's shades of that for me in this movie, and we'll talk about that later. But I didn't feel. I know they're trying to give me connection to some of these new characters, but I don't see the path of where we're going. And maybe that's because this is a setup movie and I'm going to bite that bullet and keep moving forward. But it was hard for me to stay as engaged because I don't understand who these characters are. And to me, they didn't do a good enough job to endear me to them yet. And so that's where I sit. And that's why it's a definite stream it. I didn't think it was a great movie. It wasn't a bad movie. Was I entertained? Yes. But it was also in parts very slow for me, where it felt a little laborious, and I wanted them to speed things up a little bit. And there was a lot of discrepancies in combat that really bothered me, especially towards the end. So solid stream it. If you're a Marvel fan, you're going to watch it. Are you going to love this movie? Maybe not, but you're going to watch the next one. You're going to watch what they put out. So let's hope they start to tie some of these strings together. And I'm very excited to hear JJ, Mr. Comic, explain a lot of things that I don't understand, because I lost a lot of sleep last night trying to read up on this shiz. So stream it.
Yeah, so if you want probably a history of the Eternals, join us for the deep dive, because I'm sure I'll be explaining a lot, which is cool. Yeah, there it is. Mostly stream it, one worth it. Go check out the movie, especially if you're a Marvel fan. If you know anything about the comics, you'll enjoy this. Yeah, cool. Next week. What is next week? Oh, yeah. Red Notice. We'll see.
That's right.
My expectations are in the toilet for this movie, unfortunately.
What is this movie about?
It's the Ryan Reynolds, The Rock
Thief movie, right?
Yeah, and Gal Gadot. The only thing that makes me happy about it is Gal Gadot, but I have this, like, the trailer, like, looks like there's going to be some sort of, like, romantic thing between The Rock and Gal Gadot, and we've seen in, like, a couple of movies now that shit doesn't work with The Rock, so I'm scared. So the Red Notice or something like that. They're the Red. I don't know.
Yeah, Red Notice.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a comedy action, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With Ryan Reynolds and The Rock.
Ryan Reynolds.
The other movies.
They don't do serious.
I mean, are we making a serious movie? Yeah. Although is something coming on Disney Plus that has Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell, and it looks very serious. I don't know what that is called, but it's a TV show. It can be done.
Not heard anything like that, but I just wish I didn't hate Will Ferrell like that as much as I do.
Yeah, I cannot think of a single Will Ferrell performance that I've enjoyed, including the Elf or whatever that Christmas movie.
Oh, it's called the Shrink Next Door.
Huh. No, I hate Elf. I know that's controversial to say. I'm fucking controversial.
Don't tell my wife I said that.
I hate Elf.
Yeah, bring it on. I'll take on Christmas favorites, the Marvel community. Bring it all on. No one's safe.
Sounds like we need to watch Elf.
Except Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park is a national treasure.
Jurassic Dinosaur. They need to do some Christmas special. Javier would be all over that.
Dude, I'm watching
ripping boxes open.
I will watch children's shows that are in the universe. So.
Don't say you will, you do.
I have.
All right. So yeah, check us out for the Red Notice next week. We'll see how that goes. Mattson, tell everybody where they can find us when they're not watching our spoiler free.
Yeah, when you're not watching Spoiler Freeze on YouTube, check us out on What's Our Verdict first and foremost. Check out our coming soon to see our slate of movies for the month of November. We're excited for what is in store, and especially in December as well. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, most especially Twitter. And then when you want to listen to us, Ghana, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever good podcasts are found, come give us a listen.
That's right. All right. Well, join us for a deep dive. It'll be out on Monday, the 8th. And yeah, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye now.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!